Yeah, so I'll just show you one project. So these are the several projects what usually covered. If you see here, one second, Spring Hibernate. Yeah. So as you can see, this squared boxes, right? As you can see, grow brown color, yeah, brown color boxes, brown yellowish color. These boxes are called the packages, and if you click on this, you will see the Java class inside this. Again, if you click on this one, you will see the Java classes. Again, if you click this one, it's a Java classes, right? So why I have written like this? As you can see, com Divakar Spring example dot common. Inside the common, I have written so many classes like mail sender. It will send the mail. It will encrypt your messages. It will send mail to some user. It will keep the session valid. And then controller, I have written like login controller, person controller, registration controller. So my point is what here is why I am writing all these Java classes in this package, and all these things are in this package. The reason behind is this: when your application grows, and you might have 10,000 or 20,000 Java classes. It's not like one or two classes what you're writing here, and just run it and that's all. In real time application, if you go and work in project in some big companies, right? There they will have around 20, 30,000 or 40,000, even more than 1 lakh Java classes in single component or single project. So imagine in entire project there could be numerous, I mean countless Java classes. How to track those Java classes, right? Suppose tomorrow some problem comes and you need to debug that problem. You need to find out what exactly the problem is happening. To find out which class it is calling, that might take 2 3 days for you, and then also you might not find out. If we are copying all the classes, if we are putting all the classes at the same place. So imagine if I write all these classes in a single, see, package is nothing but the folder. Just think about like a folder. Okay. And so whatever the Java classes you write, it's if you're putting into the same bucket. Just think about, you have 4 colors of balls, 4 different colors of ball, like blue, black, red and yellow, and about 20 30 balls you have for each colors. And you are asked to put you are asked to put somewhere, I mean in some room or somewhere. And later on you are asked to, okay, go get me all the yellow balls, or go get me some ball from yellow, this one. If you put in the same bucket, right, if you go and find out, it will take time definitely, because you need to say, or find out, okay, this is yellow one, this is this one, this is this one. So and if you segregate it, right, you will make a yellow box, you will put all yellow balls in this red box, and red box and all these things, right? It becomes easy to find out. So in Java there is a concept of package, what we call it a package. And package means you are putting similar functionality type of classes in a single package. That means in a single folder or in a single bucket. So what happens, right, when you work in a big projects, and there you need to find out. Now here, suppose suppose I have some problem with my controller classes. I can simply, if I see here, I will be seeing something like this, right? If I collapse this, so yeah, I will be seeing like this. So controller classes will have something like, I'm putting a name. It's not necessary that you need to put name like this only. You can give any meaningful name which is easy for you to track. So com Divakar Spring example dot controller is there. So I'll think, okay, whatever the controller kind of thing, right, that could be in controller classes. And then I can go into the respective classes and I can find out. Suppose I have some issue with sending emails. Now email is such a functionality which is common to all the projects. I think if you see any websites anywhere, right, I think email is the most common thing which you will get it, right. So your email functionality will be everywhere. So what I did, right, I put into that email functionality, that okay, send email to some person or something, and you can put into the common kind of folder. So I'll think, okay, maybe that kind of functionality in a common. And there are few these things we will cover later. This DAO is called data access object. So database related, whatever the our Java program which communicates with data, we put generally in DAO kind of, we generally name it as a DAO. That is called the data access objects. So all the database related, right? So we are persisting the person detail, we are updating it, we are getting it, all this stuff we are doing, we're putting into the DAO. So tomorrow if some problem comes related to database, whether the problem with inserting the data or getting the data from database, we can easily look into these folders and in these particular classes, and we can find out. We will not go and worry about these controllers and common, because I know that that's not the problem with that. Okay, so that's the reason we choose to make packages, and that's why we generally try to do packaging, and we do the different segments. So just I'll tell you about what exactly the package is. So what I will do is I'll delete everything whatever that created. So this is my sample project. I mean, till now I haven't done nothing. I'll create one package. So this is the step. Right click on this, new, and then go package. What I will do is I will create a package which will just like, I'll just give you an example. The convention of that package is your naming. The name should all be all the names should be in small. This is not mandatory. I'm telling you, this is a convention that we follow as a programmer. So all the names should be in small, and the name should be in opposite direction. That means, suppose you are working in a XYZ company. Okay, so your website name is xyz.com. Okay, so you will write opposite com.xyz, and then you can put your project name. So I'll write sample.project. So this is the name I have given, com.xyz. See, com is your after the com, then xyz your company name, and sample and project is your project name maybe. Then you can write new, and then you can write a class. I will write a class for some utility methods. What we can write is anything. Let's take example of to check whether a number is a prime or not. Okay, let's do like that only. So I'll write a prime check helper. Okay, I have written a class, right? And as you can see here, this class is belonging to this package. So what happens, right? If you write inside that, this line will automatically gets created. A package com xyz xml project, and this class belongs to this particular package. So if you if you see physical way how this folder gets created, I'll show you. We'll go to
Yes, sir.
okay, fine. Okay, sorry, just there was some. Okay, fine. Yeah, so what I was telling is that if you say package, right? If you create a package, that means you go to you create a kind of folder. So if I go to this folder and sorry, so see here the project location. What I did copied. 1 second. Copy this location of the program, and we'll go to this path, and here you will see src com xyz sample project. So what do you see here? The path what you will see here is com xyz sample and project. Inside that, this class will be residing. So it starts with src, first the project name, that is day 5, then src, then com xyz sample project. So similar to that, it will create a folder structure. As you can see here, my training the workspace, and inside that day 5 is there, inside that src folder is there, inside that com xyz sample project, and then the prime check helper.java is residing, right? So internally the package means nothing but you are putting in different folders. Just you have a mark sheet of your class 10, you have 12, then your graduation, then you have masters, then you have PhD, and you're creating different folders you are putting for that, right? It's just like that. So it helps you in two things. One, suppose you need to write the same class name for a different purpose, you cannot write in the same package because there will be a conflict, right? If I try to create the same class name here also, it will not let me. Suppose I create the same, it will say, see, class name already exists, but I can always create the same class in different package because that will be in different folder, right? So the syntax is something like, you write a package and then you put the name whatever you want to name, so internally it will create that kind of folder. So now in this, yeah, so now in this, in this class, right, what you can do is I'll write a method to check whether a number is prime or not. So to check a number, we will create a method. So we'll write something like public boolean is prime, and it will take a number in some number, and we need to check out whether a number is a prime number or not. So uh, to logic is something like, I think you might be knowing what is the logic to check the prime number. So from I equals to, I think, 2 to I less than equal to math dot sqrt of that particular number. So I plus plus, what we will do is that in mathematics there is a rule that if a number is not divisible by any of the numbers, right, except one and itself, it's a prime number. So there is also a rule in mathematics, if you might be knowing, the shortcut is that if a number is not divisible from 2 to a square root of that particular number, it will never be a prime number. So yeah, it's a prime number. So like you have a 13. So 13's square root will be something like 3, right? Sorry, 3. So if it is not divisible by till 3, it will never be divisible by that number. Or you can say there is a more shortcut than that, is you can go by divided by 2, and if you want more iterations you can go till numbers. If it's your wish, generally you should write your logic in such a way that it should be less number of operations. So I'm just going for simple one, that from 2 to till that number we will check it. If it is divisible, it's not a prime number. If it's not divisible, then that. Okay, so what I'm going to check is that if the number is divisible by that particular, if that is equals to 0, that means this number is not a prime number, and I'll say break, and I will take a boolean as is prime equal to true. By default I'm making as a true, and if this is this is catched that okay, this is a prime number, I'll set is prime equals to false. Now is prime equals to, I set it as a false, that okay, it's not there, and from for loop I'll return is prime. That's it. So this is my logic, and this is something like, I will say, API, that is called the application helper kind of which I have written this. Whenever you need, you can use it, right? So suppose this is something like I am provided with. When I started my I went to a company and I saw that they said, okay, hey, we have already method or API to check whether it's a prime number or not. Now you can just please use it for printing first 100 prime numbers. Okay, so I'm asked to write a program, and so what I will do is that I will create again a new package where I can use it. So com dot something like example dot main app. So in this one I'll write a class again, prime printer. So prime printer, what exactly I will be doing? See, So as you can see here, it's in com example main app, right? So this is my package. Inside this I am writing prime printer example, and I need to use this method, this public boolean prime is prime number. I need to use it, and our task is to print the first first 50 prime number, or suppose just for example I need to print from 1 to 100 whatever the prime numbers is, just print that. How to print that one, how to use this API. So let's see. So as usual we need to write the main method to start a program, because this is where our program will start. And the thing what we need to do is here is we need to print from 1 to 100 whatever the prime number is there. So I will start from 2, because 1 is not a prime number, it's a special number. And I less than equal to 100 will see till 100 and I plus plus. And what exactly I am going to check is that whether the first time the value of I will be 2, and we need to find out whether 2 is a prime number or not. So we need to use this API. I'm not going to write the logic. I need to use this API whether it's a prime number or not. So to use this API, I need to call this method, and to call this method I have to create the object of this class as per the object oriented programming paradigm, right? So what I will do here is I'll create this prime check helper obj equals to new prime check helper. So I've created this object here, and now the question is, this prime check helper belongs to this project, and my prime printer, this is the class, it does not know about where exactly this prime check helper is. I have to provide, I'll just remove this one because otherwise see. So if I write simply prime check helper obj equals to new prime check helper, I will give I will get an error that okay, what is this prime check helper you are talking about, because it does not know about outside its package. So whatever the class I'm talking about, it's in different package. As you can see, com example main app, and this one is in com xyz sample project. And this class, this class doesn't have any clue about this class. So I have to tell this program, this application page, that okay, this class belongs to this package. And this is how generally we tell that. We say okay, import means you bring that class. And what is that class? So com dot xyz dot sample project, right? So dot and then the prime check helper. So as you can see here, we need to write this statement that okay, I want from this particular this one. Why do we need to write this? Because maybe there could be one more prime check helper in some other package. How will your program will know that okay, which prime check helper you want? Okay, so that's why you need to give the full qualified name of that particular path or that particular package name, and then you can import it. So now we have this obj, this is the object of this particular class, and which has a is prime number, and I need to check whether the value of I is prime, because this I keeps changing. I mean, from 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, it will keep iterating, it will keep incrementing by one, and I need to check, I need to validate whether it's a prime number or not. So what I will do is we'll take this in we'll call this method, right? Obj dot is prime, and we will pass this value I. So we'll pass this value, and as you can see here, after checking, it will return me is prime, that is it's a true or it's a false. So if it's divisible by this, it will return false, otherwise it will return the default value, which is nothing but the true, right? So we need to take this in boolean is prime, in this we need to take it. So now we got this object, right? This value, whether it's a true or false. So we'll check it simply here. If is prime equals to true, we'll say I is prime number. That's it. Else we don't need to print, because we know we need to print only prime numbers between 1 to 100. And let's see how it goes. I'm afraid nothing is happening. There must be some problem here. We are printing this one. Okay, we are calling this is prime. Is prime went here, and is prime true. And if I, oh sorry, this should not be equal to the logic, it should be less than that number. Okay, if, because that will be divisible by that itself number, right? So let's see now. Yeah, okay, so as you can see here, 2 is a prime number, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 19, 29, 23, 29, 31, 37, 41, 43, 47, and till 97 it has printed that these all are prime numbers. So list of prime numbers we have printed, and there is no checking we are doing, it is getting done somewhere else. Okay, anybody, any question? What I know, what is the use of package? And see the, I mean, the abstraction, this is called the real abstraction, the object oriented programming, what I had covered, right, on the first session. And I was telling that, okay, the abstraction is hiding the implementation, and that's what we are doing it here in one line. This is where I see I need not to worry. Suppose this class is already provided to me, and this method is also provided to me, and I am simply asked to give a number, and they will check it everything, and they will tell me, okay, it's a prime number or not. And here I need to just pass that number, and it will tell me true or false, whether it's a prime or not. And it's really very easy, right? I mean, it's a very abstract. I mean, you need not to worry what exactly is happening inside this. And this is what Java provides. This is the API is what we call it, and that's how it becomes easy to write code, and how to it's easy to reuse the functionality as well. So now think about your this prime check number is used at many places in your Java code. You do not have to write the code again and again. You can always call this method and get it done, right? Any questions so far? Please do ask, because there has to be some confusion. If there is no confusion, either I explain very well or you don't understand at all, right? So tell me anything you need to ask, anything you did not understand, I'll repeat. Anyone, anything? No? Or everybody slept or what? Okay. Okay, fine. So I hope things are clear. I mean, if nobody is asking anything. So this is all about packages, how to write the packages. And next thing, I just covered these packages because I need to use some static and all these methods. So what I will do is, so from now on I will be using the packages. So I hope everybody will be okay with that. So let me create one new package. Okay, static. So from now on, I will be asking questions you guys, and you have to answer if you understand properly or not. Okay. So there will be a cross questions, and you will have to answer those. One thing what I'm going to cover is the static keyword, and it's really a very critical role in Java programming. Static keyword is something let me just before go into that, I'll just tell you the instance variable. This is static example, it's a class, right? And you can write something like int some number, and Then you write this main method, and you simply, what you do is you create a object of this class. Okay, I am printing, I did not do anything. I have written a class, static example, int some number. There is a one field. This is the field, what we call it, right? And in public static void main, I have written a method. I am creating a class, object of that class. And then I'm accessing that member. And if I'm printing it, it'll print the default value of that particular data type. So as this some number is an integer data type, so it is printing 0. If it is a boolean, it will print false. If it is a double, it will print some 0.0, I think. Yeah. And if it is a char, I think it will print nothing. Yeah. So what exactly this one is, what I will say is, can you tell me, can we access this sum number without creating the object? Is it possible that right now I'm able to access this sum number? So let it be int only, and it is printing me 0, which is a default value. If I don't initialize any value, right now I haven't initialized it anything. If I initialize with suppose 10, it will be 10, right? So I'm able to print this value. What if I don't create the object? Can I access this number, some number? Can I print the value? Pratik, can you tell me this?
Yes, sir. I think we can use that value if not we using object.
So we can print it as per you, as you say, right?
Yes, sir. If someone number equal to 10, then I think we can print that number.
Okay, so what is the use of creating the object here? I mean, this int some number is, it's a part of which class? If I ask you, right? It's a part of which class? It's a part of static example, right?
Yeah.
It's a member of which, if you say member, right? What I mean, I think in previous classes I had covered that one. These are the member variables, I mean the members of that. So if I tell you something like you are residing in a building, sorry, not building, it's an apartment or something, some complex, and there's a front gate there, and in that buildings, whatever the houses are there that belongs to that particular complex, and there is an authorization board there that you cannot visit any house, you cannot see, you cannot meet any members of that until and unless you get the grant permission from this authority or someone, right? So this is just like the authority what Java is giving to you, because this int some number equal to 10, it belongs to static example class, and there is no way, it's okay, I mean you tried, that doesn't mean, I mean it's fine. There is no way you can use this sum number without using the object of that class. The reason is this int sum number is part of this particular class, and in order to access that, you have to create the object of that class, and then only you can create it. So if I remove this one, it will give me a very good red error that okay, this is not, it can't be done. You cannot use some number directly because it's not associated with anything. It has to be associated with this class. As Java sees that this some number belongs to this static example, and that's why this variable is called the instance variable. The reason is why it is called the instance variable is this is belonging to this particular class. And also, if I tell you one thing here is, okay, se dot some number, what is the value here? It's a 10, right? It's a 10, right? So I'll make it 20 now. What do you think if I print it now, what it will be? So yeah, what it will be if I print it now? Can you tell me what it will be right now if I print it now? It's simple, right? It should be 20. Why? It's a default number was some number equals to 10 and I change it to 20. So now if I'm printing this SE equals to number, it should be 20 only, right? No? Any confusion here? See, if you guys does not understand, you do not understand these things, right? It will be really difficult to write programs because this is very basic things that you need to understand how to access objects, how to call methods, and then only I can proceed with the static. What I'm trying to focus on. The next thing will come static. So right now I need to make things understand that okay, you understand the object levels, how to access the members using the object. So tell me if any doubt, if you're not understanding, do not think that, okay, let it go, I'll think about later or something. If you have asked right now, ask me. Or you have to give the answer that, okay, this is what exactly happening. So I hope you guys understand why it is 20. And it's really simple. If, see what exactly happenings here, what is happening here. If you see here, this line, right? So if you write like this line, in memory, it happens something like this. It will have a variable name as some number, and it will put 10 initially, and this object name is SE. You have created this line, right? So this SE, what you have created, the first line does this one, and next time what you are saying, okay, SE dot some number equal to make it 20. Now this is my SE, and dot some number is will point to this value, that is 10. So I am telling, okay, override this with 20. So it's obvious if I print SE dot some number, that 10 will be long gone. It is no more there, right? It has been overwritten by this 20. And if I print it, some number dot, SE dot some number, it will be 20. Am I right? Okay. What if, if I do something like, again, I will create one more object, static example SE1 equal to new static example, and SE1 dot some number equal to 30, and I am printing SE1 dot some number, and then SE1 dot some number. Jansi, can you tell me the answer? What this will print and what this will be printing? Jansi, you there?
I think 20 and 30.
So you mean this line will print 20 and this line will print 30, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just one more. If I again create one more object like S2, and I'll print this S2 dot some number. So what will this be printing now?
0.
0. Jansi, what it will print?
0.
Okay. Now just 0, when it will print 0, when that way we do not give anything here, right? So if we don't give anything, by default the value is 0, but if we give something, then it will definitely take the default value, right? See, just think about in object perspective. I am creating the object of this particular class. Which class? Static example. And I am referring to which field? I am referring to some number. and some number is initialized with value 10. So whenever I create the object of that and I refer to that particular value, it will always print whatever it is there. If nothing is there, then it will print the default value. So if I don't give anything, then it will print 0. But if I initialize with 10, it should print 10. So this will print this SE number, right? The first one, that SE number is it will be by default, it will be 10, but we are overwriting it with 20. So this will print 20. This I am overriding with 30. This will print 30, and this will be 10. So it will be like 20, 30, and 10. It should print something like this, and that's what it will be: 20, 30, and 10. Right? Is it clear? Okay. And if
Yeah, yes.
yeah, if you don't see, if you don't give, I am not giving anything. So Java will by default, it will put 0. So now in this case, it will put 0. And then again, we can, overwrite it with something SE2, you can put it some value. And see, that's what it happens. I mean, till now, we have created 3 objects, SE1, SE, and SE2. So in memory, something like 3 boxes will be created. Now learn about this, because this is very important. And 3 boxes got created, and in all the boxes there will be that variable, the sum number. So this SN, I'm just writing short form, SN, and then again here also SN, and the object, suppose this is my SE, this is my SE2, sorry, SE1, and this is my SE2. And in SE, if you can see, I'm overwriting it with 20. So first, when I created this SE, just focus about this line only, the first line, SE example, SE equals to new example. At that point of time, when object had created, the value by default had come is 10. And now what I did, I overwritten it with 20. So now it will be point to 20. So this is fine now. So SE dot sum number will be 20. Now next, what I did is, I am creating the SE1, and then again it will be by default 10, but again I am overriding with 30. So it will be 30. And in this case, I am doing nothing, so it will by default remain 10 only. If I don't put anything, Java will put 0 here. Is it okay now, everybody? So these objects are called the instance level objects, SE, SE1, SE2. These all objects called the instance level objects, and it varies. There is no relation between this object to this object. There is no relation between this sum number to this sum number. There is no relation between this value to this value. There is different entity. They are residing in different memory. They have no correlation between each other. Okay, so fine. This. Yeah. So the next question is, the next thing is, what if I want to make a variable independent of object? This is not independent of object, right? Because the same sum number I am printing to different object numbers, and it is giving me the different results, right? This is giving me 20, this is giving me 30, this is giving me 10. But if you see, the variable what I'm calling is always the sum number only, and it's varying because of the variables, right? The objects is different. This is SE, this is SE1, this is SE2, and because of that it is varying. So what we can do with that to make it independent of object? Suppose we need some cases where we need to make it independent of this one. So you need to make this as a static. So there is a keyword as static, so I'll just make it as 10 by default, because you need to initialize it with something. Okay, it should be here. Okay. Static int sum number. Okay, now the things has been changed. So what will happen now is, this sum number is not dependent on the object. This has now belonged to a class level. It's not an object level now. Now it's on class level. So if I suppose tell you now that okay, static E1 equal to new static example E1. So I am printing E1 dot some number. Next, what I'm doing is that E1 dot, oh, I'll do again, I'll create again static example E2 equals to new static example, and what I will do that E2 dot some number equal to 20. Okay, so what is happening here? I'll just give you a hint. This is static. Once you write this, if I remove this one, what do you think, Satyajit? What do you think it will print? E1 and E2. What do you think it will print? Satyajit, you there? Okay, I think yes, some problem. Okay, okay. Oh, you cannot. You don't have a microphone, right? So yeah, you can tell me what it will print. E1 and E2. What will be the value of E1 and E2? Okay, so Satyajit is telling that the value will be 10 and 20. So it should be like E1 will print 10 and E2 will print 20. Everybody agree with that? Amika, is it okay? Will it be like that? Is it correct? 10 and 20? So he is telling that E1 will be 10 and E2 will be 20. Is that right? What do you think? Is it correct? Still not clear. You can tell something, right? What do you think? It's okay. If it is wrong, it's okay. No problem. You are learning, right? I mean, the chances that it could be wrong. So yeah, okay. So he's right. Okay, he's telling. Okay, fine. Yeah, that is right. So it will be E1 will be 10 and E will be 20. That is perfectly fine. And the one magic what I will do here is now. So I'm printing E1 again. So now if you see here, what exactly I'm doing is E1, before it was that it was printing 10, that is perfectly fine. E2 we have created and we have changed it to 20. So this will print 10, and then I will print this E2 as a 20, and it's perfectly fine that I am doing this, and this will be 10 and this will be 20. I'm not touching E1, but strangely if I run it now, I did not run it till now, if I run it, this E1, what it should be, I mean, as per the understanding, just suppose that the static was not there, what do you think it should be, Pratik? Just assume this static is not there. So what, E1, then E2, and then E1 again. So this is confirmed already. This will be printing 10 and this will be 20. Right now what it will be printing if static is not there?
I guess it was a 10.
Okay, so yeah, it will print 10. There's nothing harm in that. 10, 20, and again, E10 again, because I'm doing this again, same thing, right? E1 some number, E2 some, perfectly right. Okay, but the only magic it will do here is that if I write static here, it will change everything. Now, what it will change everything is that it's now 10, 20, 20. It's totally strange that E1 got changed even though I'm not changing at all E1, right? I'm not touching anything. I've simply made E2 as 20, but strangely E1 is also become 20. That's a very strange thing. And it's strange became because I have put a keyword as static here. Now, what does it do? The static keyword does is what? It makes this variable independent of the objects. It's no more related on this. Even though you are accessing using the objects, there is no use. You can easily, remove this one. You can, remove this one. You can easily, call without the help of the object. You need to use the class name instead of that. So you are not supposed to use the object for static variables. You are supposed to use the class name. So this is what exactly the static variable is. What I have done, I have put a static keyword. Now if you put a static keyword, it's no more dependent on your object. It depends on your, it's like a class level. You can directly use the some number variable using the class name, and as there is only one class, so there can be only one instance of some number. So if you are putting the sum number here and then again you are making the changes to 20, it's actually changing the class level value 10 to 20, and that's why it is printing it again. So if I revert back to the same thing what we did that time, so let it, yeah. So this was 10, 20, 20. That's why the thing was what is happening here is it does not create three objects here. You might be wondering E1 and E2, there will be two objects create. Yeah, that will be created. There is no problem. So it will create two objects here, E1 and E2. So it will be created like E1 and then E2. But it will not contain anything at all. Why? Because this only there is one static keyword and there is no instance variable level, so it will not contain anything, doesn't have anything. Rather, there will be one static example object class, this class only, not even object, and it will have that same number variable, and that will contain your value. So initially it is 10, and then what you are doing, you're telling, okay, hey, create one object E1, print that number, that is perfectly fine. So this will access this number only. Okay, this object will refer to the same thing because it doesn't have that one, and this guy will also refer the same thing. So you have created E1, you are printing that E1 dot some number, you are printing 10, that is perfectly fine. Then you are saying, okay, E2 dot static number and E2 to make changes to 20, and this guy, this E2 doesn't have their some number. What it does is goes and changes this value. So this now becomes 20. And then third time you are saying, okay, E1 dot get some number. And you might be wondering that, okay, E1 has their some number, but it's not their number. So when you access that, it actually access this one. So the bottom line is that if you make any variable as static, it's foolish to use the objects. So never use object to access those variables. Rather, you use the class name static example dot some number rather than create the object and this one. And that's why it's called the static variables or class level variables. It's not on object level. Is it clear? This concept is really very important because I think entire Java programming, calling the objects and method is dependent on this. If you do not understand this, there will be a very problem further. I mean, calling the objects and all. So any questions, just do ask me now. Is it fine? Okay, so yeah, everybody I think gets it. So right now, so we are using this, e1 dot, so it's not advisable to use that, and it's, you can directly use static example dot some number. Okay, so that is the better way to use it, and you can, happily use it like this. So there is no constraint whatsoever. Okay, there is one more keyword which is important, I would say, that is the final keyword, but static is very important. Static can be applied to method also. So quickly I'll just tell you about this, and that's why this main method is static. And now you might be, thinking what exactly it is. So I hope you remember this. Just now I had written that method, and this method was not static. This is prime, right? And what we had used here, the prime printer, to use this method is prime, I had to create the object of this prime helper obj equals to new prime helper, and then I had to call using that object. I do not want to create the object, so what I will do is that I'll make this method as static. So what I did is I told, okay, make this static, so that I do not have to create the object to call this method. I will simply call this using the class name. I'll go here, I'll remove this guy, this line, and I'll remove this object. Instead of that, I'll say, okay, prime check helper, and I'm saying, okay, great, prime check helper dot is prime is calling my static method. I do not have to create any object to access that, so it becomes the static level method. And that's why our static public static void main, that's why our main method is static, because when Java calls our method main method, which is a special method, Java does not have to create the object, and that's why we write it as static. And that's the reason, in interview questions also people might ask, and they generally ask that why we put a static keyword in front of main, and that is the reason that they do not want to create the object of that class to access this method. So if you create, you put a static in front of method, it will make you class level method, and you can directly call using the class name instead of creating the object and then calling the method using that particular object. Okay, perfect. So the last topic today, I'll cover this final keyword. There is a key. Did I cover the inheritance things? Can you just tell me? I don't remember, because I think I forgot. Inheritance, did I cover? That you can inherit the property, you can inherit the method of a class. Anybody can tell, no problem.
Yes, sir. You covered, I think. Yeah.
Okay, so everybody knows, right, what is inheritance is? Okay, great. Oh, just introduction. Okay, no problem. And details, there is nothing much anyhow. When I'll go through the collections, right there, I have to explain the inheritance, because I will be bound to explain these things in details. Yeah, you have idea, right? So final keyword can be used in variable, it can be used for variables, it can be used for class, it can be used for methods. So okay, so if I tell, okay, for now I'll tell you about the about method level only. So what sorry, this variable level only. So int, suppose some fixed number, or yeah, some SSN number, right? So it's generally fixed for a person, right? It's always a constant number. I don't know whether what is the something like this, your so your SSN number is something like this, and I know that it's never going to change, not for today, at least for some time or something, right? It's, I think it's a fixed for a person, right? SSN number. And I do not want to make it as a variable. I want this to be a constant value, and so that nobody can change it further, whatever I have assigned. So what I can do is I'll put a final keyword here, and once I do it a final keyword, nobody can ever change this value to anything else. So if I create the object of this, and if I do se.ssn equal to something, it will prompt me an error that okay, what you are going to do is illegal, because this ssn is a final value and you cannot change it. So this final is used in the constant things, like wherever you think that okay, these things could be used as a constant value, you can use it. There's two other uses as well of final keyword, which can be applied to okay. The final keyword, this can be applied to your variable level. You can even apply to your class level, but what it will do is that you cannot inherit this particular class. If you apply to the class level, right, there is no way you can inherit that extends, right, inheritance. You cannot apply the inheritance to this. So that is one more uses of final, and there is one more is that which is used in overriding the methods that I will cover in maybe next class, overloading and overriding. So you cannot override the methods as well. So mostly we use final keyword for that purpose. Whenever we need some constant values, we use it for that purpose. Okay. Before I wind up, I'll quickly cover one more thing, which is called the method overloading. And method overloading and the constructor, there are two things which should be covered. So I'll do this. That final is okay, right? I mean, two things I'll cover later. What is that inheritance, how to do that. But main thing is that you can, if you want to make it something constant, you can use it for that purpose. Okay. So okay, so in my constructor example, is constructor is something, it's like a method only, the function only, but it is called when you create an object of a class. So suppose you have a class, and you need to create the object of this class, right? So what generally you will do, you will have suppose int x equals to 10, and you need to access this 10, right? You want to print it. What generally you do, you create that obj equals to new constructor, and you print this like that, obj dot x, right? And you simply run this. What happened? Oh, okay. Name of this should be the app name, because that is the rule we need to follow. Okay, so this is their main app. Okay, so I have a class, my class, and it has a int x equals to 10. This is the class, and I want to create the object of this class and access this variable and print it. So I'll do my class obj equals to new my class, and I am simply printing this one. And if you print it, It will simply print 10. That is perfectly fine. What exactly happens when this line gets executed? This, if you see here, this class and this bracket, it's actually calling a method. And this method is something like, yeah, there has to be one method, something like this. By default, if you don't write this method, Java will internally place this my class method internally. But if you write it something like this, my class explicitly, so now you are kind of overriding the features. Now if you execute this line, before this line only, if you create this object only, this method, this is not a method, it's like a constructor, and constructor will never have a return type. The difference between method and a constructor is method has return type, it will return something, but constructor will never return anything. And here if I print, okay, I am called, okay, and if you run it now, you will see that before printing 10, that means before executing this line, it has executed this line, and in that order only it has created this, it has called this one, and I am called. So this is what we call it as a constructor. Even we can have a parameterized constructor as well, and that's what we call it, like my class, and then you can write int or string name, and you can print this name. So whatever name I am providing, I can print it. So same thing, you can write my class, then you can write my class string name, then again you can write my class or something. So now how to call that object? You can pass it here as some name or something, Peter or something, whatever you want. And now it will call that Peter, hello, my name is Peter, and then 10. It did not call this one, I am called. Why? Because now I am putting this parameter here. So what Java will see that, okay, this is the guy which is taking the input as a string, not this one. This is the default. And again, if I remove this one, it will call the default constructor. So this is called the default constructor. This is called the default constructor, and this is called parameterized constructor. Okay, so if you don't give anything, that is the default constructor which is getting called. If you comment out this one, if you remove this one, then it will give you an error that, okay, the parameterized is there but the default is not there. So you are bound to give the default as well. So you have to one default constructor, and if you want, you can parameterize, you can send. If you don't want anything, you can put it like that. What is the use of this? The use is, generally you need to do some kind of initializations, that, okay, whenever I create the object of this particular class, put the name as some name. So generally this is used for the parameterized things. And the overloading, what we call is, as you can see here, the name is same, my class and my class, but it takes nothing, it takes the string, and Java automatically decides which one to call. If I put nothing, it will call this one, and if I put some variable, it calls this one. This is what called the constructor overloading or the method overloading. It means same name but different parameters, and that's what the polymorphism is all about. Also, one more thing is there in overriding, that I will cover it later because it's already very late for me today. So this is the constructor, and whenever you create, even if it is not there, suppose I remove it, all these things, then also then also it will work. But see here, then also it will be calling the my class constructor. There is no constructor, and it will call the default one, and you haven't written the default one. That's why it is not printing anything at all. Okay, any question, anything you would like to answer? Okay, so I'll upload this code if it is necessary. I don't think there is much code in here. you can get it from that link I had given you. Any questions you can ask before I close this session. So you guys need to ask questions, because I will not be knowing whether guys are following or how things are going. Okay, so I think everybody understood. So that is fine. I will be sending few programs, and I am not getting time. I'll send some few programs and practice at home. I hope everybody has installed Eclipse. So try out these programs by yourself, and there will be record option. If you would like to record, I think you can record it also for your reference if you need. Okay. Yeah, fine. We'll have session tomorrow then. I'm closing for today. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.